really just targeting Ultra Prime at this point, where, you know, the Jax and the Rise, both the solo laners from game number 1 for Ultra Prime, the Sejuani, you know, just a heavy pick for Ning. Was banned in the first game as well. The Elise, the Jace banned by Ultra Prime here. And now the question is, what do you not want EDG to first pick? There's conversations for the Annie, for the Ashe. I mean, the Ashe is going to be taken off the board. Now EDG, a whole world of options is open for them.
Yeah, they can go towards that Caitlyn, which is something that we've hit on. You could even look to go for the Zarya if you have like options in terms of what you're comfortable playing with later on. But I think Caitlyn is probably the biggest standout in my mind. Maokai, I guess, being the other one. A good call.
Yeah.
At least already taken off the table. You at least have 2 to 3 options in the AD carry role. It's where this, in my mind, really just is that top tier jungler.
So Caitlyn taken away here by Ultra Prime in response. And I love the little hover of the Lee Sin from EDG. I wonder if Ultra Prime will go for that one. As the Annie also taken there. Curious if that'll be Baolan or if that'll be Ching that takes it up. Again, that is a flex pick, but now over to EDG. I feel like you probably do want to look towards your bottom lane. It looks like it will be the Lucian army.
We've said this took like small hits in 13.1B, but we have seen the prio in the LPL in these few days on 13.3 really fall down the rabbit hole for the Lucian Nami. EDG's bot lane, still one of the best in the business. I would expect them to be able to maneuver this one quite well about looking for those all-ins, getting to those power spikes quickly, to where for Ultra Prime, I feel like rounding out your first rotation much better this time. Caitlyn, Annie, incredibly strong. You already have a flex pick. Getting Vi in there, something that can very easily single out the Lucian. You even have like CC chains that can already start to come out, right? Whether it's, you know, Annie setting up a stun, buys time for Vi to get in range, look for a Q or an ult, like whatever it is. Ultra Prime might be building that same kind of annoyance of, hey, everyone can lock you down that EDG had in game 1.
Yeah, absolutely. And the CC chain, if one person is caught, you never move it again. You never
Caitlyn trap under that as
yeah,
well.
exactly. It's just impossible. So, especially for Leave, who got caught out a couple of times in the previous game, like Lucian, you really do have to play on that knife's edge of, you know, in that moment of danger. So, we'll see if Ultra Prime can punish it.
As Lucian, like, you're always in range of both Annie and Vi. Yeah. So, yeah, Lup's going to be up, I guess, not only to leave, but up to his team to set up for it. Mako with his tidal waves, JJ with his ultis as well. But looking at bans now, Ultra Prime putting a lot of emphasis on the mid lane, not wanting to give Fofo his stock and standard comfort.
I mean, literally all 3 of his main picks this split so far have been banned, right? The Jace, the Akali, and the Azir. He's played Sylas, he's played Syndra, and he's played Victor all one time. But we'll have to see where Fofo is going to lean. I mean, again, you kind of want to see something that has a lot of power, either in that mid game, or something that can scale up and use the Lucian Nami to get you to the point where Fofo could carry.
And I want to, because I would expect Ultra Prime to go with top here, but with how many mid bans there are, you might just need to. Honestly, what even is there? I guess you saw things like Victor that are relatively safe, that are still left open. You have like the Talia, which pairs really well with the Vi. I'd actually prefer that over something like a Victor when you're going with a Vi, and there it is.
Yeah, you got it. The Talia comes on through. First time for Ching, and it will mean that Annie is definitely going to go to support for Baolan. Now Fofo gets to select his matchup, and Ala has to go for a blind pick. I like the Renekton, makes sense.
You have 6 mid lane bans coming through. Like, there really aren't a lot of options available. They themselves, I guess, could go with a Victor and just try to play out that 1v1 matchup, which would be fine. You have pressure in bot lane. You're going to have this Renekton, which is going to do fine, you know, pretty much into anything in that top side.
Do we see Fofo take the Zoe away from Ching? That would be something special. Oh!
You have the Maokai, so you're already set up with AP damage in your composition. A lot of squishy champions. If Fofo would be able to hit a huge ulti, feels like he'd get a lot of value. No, Fofo!
Come on, go for the Yone! We have seen some blind Yones that did not work out, I will say. But looks like he's just going to go for the Victor. Yeah. Classic Fofo. He does love a control mage, it has to be said.
And now for Ultra Prime, a top laner, I really think they could just go with frontline. We even saw them like hover like the Scion before, like any generic tank champion. Yeah, fits the boat, just do it. You have enough damage elsewhere. Now getting even more engaged, putting even more threat onto Leave and Fofo. I really like what Ultra Prime have. A lot of engage, a lot of ways to lock you down. Still hard for champions like Lucian and Renekton with their dashes when playing into a Taliyah. Just a lot of good ways to be able to answer to where for EDG, you know, you have Victor in mid lanes, you have this like solid presence that is going to scale up, but I feel like you're putting a lot on like JJ, Leave, Mako to get things done down in that bot side.
Yeah, I feel like pressure has to exist from the word go, right? Where if you let Caitlyn get to that point, I mean, Taliyah kind of can function in that zoning fashion in a similar way to what Azir was bringing last time around. Like, it's all about setting that Caitlyn up to just be an absolute turret and everyone protecting her. If you let Doggo get to that position, we've seen Doggo can carry. We've seen he can be the man.
I would even say that their composition, it's better in team fights than what we had from EDG in Game 1 because you have the Sion in top side, you have the Vi, you have like these like other tools to be able to work with, and even, right, they're going to have range in bot lane. They need to be careful about all the all-ins, but level 6, the Weaver's Wall that you now have to care about. There's a lot of things that are going to be on EDG's mind with the amount of tools that Ultra Prime have available to them.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting game, but EDG came into game number 1 with a super solid game plan. They were very clearly drilled on how they wanted to play this one out. And we'll see if they're going to be the same here for game number 2, if they can adapt. But Ultra Prime, most of their wins have been on that red side, and it feels like a much more cohesive draft here for game number 2. So perhaps this is the moment for Ultra Prime to get themselves into this series and really show everyone what they're made of. If they could take a game against EDG, that would make a statement for who they are in the LPL.
Ultra Prime, again, they have been impressing. Might only be at 3 and 5 in the standings, but came in with incredibly low expectations. EDG on the opposing side maybe coming in with a bit lower expectations than past splits because of all the roster changes. And also, so both teams kind of over-delivering, I think, on where you could have placed them. EDG still expected to be a top team, but I don't know if they were expected to be as dominant as they've been, even taking down JDG as much highlighted earlier.
Yeah, we'll have to see. We'll have to see. I think EDG, you know, in the conversation of whether or not this is a top team, right, I feel like you need to be able to beat teams like Ultra Prime 2-0. I think that is a pretty fair statement based on what we've seen from Ultra Prime so far this year.
I don't know, though, because, I mean, you look at Weibo. It's like, would you consider Weibo a top team? And, you know, Weibo got
Tez every other year, right?
Weibo got destroyed by TT, so.
Hey, I'd argue that TT are up there, though, honestly.
I agree. Might be a bit harder to argue after the first series.
Yeah.
But
in theory, at least, in theory, from what we have seen, there has been some really, really high-level play from them. It's just maybe not as consistent as we would like, as Leave managed to dodge that pilt over Peacemaker. For the range advantage, you can see it just whittling away at the EDG health bars.
And that's the dynamic you're going to be looking at. Ultra Prime's bot lane, able to whittle them down, prevent the 2v2s from coming out. And the nice thing is you don't even have to really allocate mana to whittle them down, because when you're going up against an enchanter, it's like, hey, at least if they had to rely on spells, Mako can then just heal them both back up. But Mako's mana pool definitely going to get tested going up against the Caitlyn and an Annie.
Yeah, gonna try and keep Leave alive as JJ moves into the bottom side. But for how long can he pull it off? Doggo and Baolan trying to crash this wave as fast as they can. JJ wants to make a gank happen, but he knows that that's warded. It was pinged, I believe. His Leave goes to a bit of damage onto the Baolan with a stun there. Heal comes out from Doggo immediately. JJ could go for a flash, and he will be able to do so. Bramble Smash back into the play. Doggo the target. First blood for Leave. Nick on the response, trying to get into the play, but the body blocks from Mako and JJ. 2 bouncers. Make sure Leave walks away.
EDG knowing exactly what they need to do to be able to play out through the strap. Set Leave and Mako up for success. 3 camp into bot side gank coming out for JJ. And already getting off to your Lucian having the first blood. So great things from EDG. Now, no flash down there for Balan, no heal on Doggo. Might even set up for repeat pressure to come out. Won't be as easy, though. with JJ not having that flash himself. Maybe he won't just be able to outright run over vision wards to make these ganks possible, but still, opportunities to punish are plentiful.
Yeah, and that's the thing, like, a lot of summoners were used there for EDG to make that play happen, but an equal amount of summoners was used to try and defend the play. So ultimately, you've still got both flashes for your EDG bottom lane. They should be relatively safe. As, I mean, just great little flash in, picks the right target, knocks him back, no way out for
Nope, doesn't even try to use his flash, which, good restraint, but yeah, huge from EDG. We can see now Serrated Dirk already in Leave's pocket. And now Ning wanting to try to find some influence in this matchup to get his bot lane going. Isn't going to be able to find it, so yeah, going to be a rough position. They still will like have opportunities to push the wave and trade, right? Whittle them down, keep them at arm's length. It's just going to mean when Leave and Mako find these all-ins, they're going to be even more damning for the side of Ultra Prime.
Yeah, going to be tough for up. That's Serrated Dirk, like you say. A lot of damage to come out from the Lucian. But with that said, perhaps Ning can influence these lanes. Perhaps he can get someone ahead. But the thing is, when you look at the map, it's not like there's a really good gankable lane elsewhere. I mean, there's an argument for mid, but realistically, Fofo should be playing that safe enough where you can't have a significant influence. You don't really want to be ganking for Sion against a Renekton, like it's not going to come to much. It has to be this bottom lane.
Yeah, I think you can look mid, especially once 6 comes online. It looks like they want to look now, but 6 is when you can guarantee the CC into a seismic shove. But Ning going to look for a trade onto JJ.
Doesn't get the chickens, though. It will just be a bit of damage. Just CC comes back and forth between the mid laners. Fofo gets chunked out, but does return some of that after.
Now hitting level 6 on Shing, so we'll have the Weaver's Wall. We can see him starting to impact that bot lane. Already maintaining bot side vision is Harry.
Days. Ala's really low here, has to use the Dominus. Obviously it was in response to Harry's own ultimate, but still, good pressure from Harry. Is Ala trying to be super aggressive, trying to put this pressure down, but Harry not letting him just get away with it for free.
I feel like Sion has just looked so solid in the LPL. Like, you just shrug off so many matchups, so many mistakes, so much damage, and then you're always able to do your job.
Oh, the trap is there as well. Leave has to cleanse. Balan walks away just about with his life.
Bubble.
But the bubble is huge onto Doggo. Both of them 100 HP. JJ wants to move in. I don't think he can do it, but Mako can! Flashes forward and splashes down onto Doggo.
That was just outright 2v2 kill coming out for EDG. Great from Mako. Looks so dicey for Leave. Getting stuck in the trap, stunned out, but Mako able to return with the bubble to make sure that EDG stay in the lead. And it doesn't matter that coming in, we're like, hey, Ultra Prime's draft, more cohesive, we see all the opportunities. EDG, after just getting one gank from JJ early on, have been showing why their bot lane is one to be feared and why they're ones that, even if other teams are starting to stray away from this Lucian Nami lane, that they feel confident picking it up.
Absolutely beautiful from Mako. And I love that killer instinct to flash forward as the support to get that kill. Had the tag caller's blessing on. And I mean, a really, really good start to this fight from Doggo and Balan. The stun into the trap onto Leave, but then overstepping and under the tower as well. And then Mako used that tag caller's blessing, flashes forward, splish splash, gives Doggo a bath.
Nothing he can do. I mean, it makes sense because when you think about like Lucian Nami, you think about even like, I guess adding in like a Felios Lulu, like that's when Viper and Mako were showing their stuff at that World Championship. This is a champion Mako does incredibly well. And even if Leave loses a huge amount of HP here, from what we've seen before, I still believe in Mako.
Yeah. And also, Leave is going to be back to full HP in like 10 seconds time anyway, so who cares if he loses HP unless he dies? It doesn't seem to matter too much. Ching, though, wants to move down to this bottom side.
Now spotted, so it's just going to end up getting this honey fruit. Try and get his mana back up to full.
I wonder what honey fruit tastes like. Do you reckon it's like honeydew melon? Do you reckon that's what the...
That's what I would expect. That's what I would expect. Honeydew melon, pretty solid.
Pretty delicious.
Pretty solid. Do enjoy.
It's not quite dragon fruit, is it, though? I feel like in the melon category, dragon fruit is king for me.
I'll just say I think dragon fruit's kind of overrated. Kind of overrated hipster option.
Well, it varies dramatically. Like, some dragon fruit sucks, but when you get really fresh, delicious dragon fruit, oh my god, there's nothing better. It's incredible.
Okay, we need to find out what kind of dragon fruit Ning is, because he's trying to wrap around, but he already got locked out by the Maokai ult.
It's a dragon grasping roots instead as the CC chain is insane onto Baolan, trying to trade it back for Leaf, surviving somehow! 1 HP and Ning has sacrificed his life to make that pick happen.
It's just really straight coming out from Ultra, especially Ning to answer back. It just seemed like, well, screw it, I'm already here. Might as well go in and finish off this kill because Ching wasn't coming. Ends up pushing in mid, does get a fair bit of plate, so Ultra Prime kind of respond, but still, ultimately, it's EDG who feel like they came up heads up in the play.
Well, Thomas the Tank Engine re-enters the top lane, but it will just be to farm.
That was unfortunate bot side, though, because, you know, assuming my eyes were correct, I believe Ning gets caught by the Maokai ultimate from over the wall, and even is just kind of like, yeah, what's going on here? We're gonna get a replay. So Ning looking for the opportunity. Yeah.
Oh yeah, he did.
Gets screwed up. Decides to run all the way around when he notices multiple members coming on through. And then, I mean, again, just great chain, great ultimate coming out from Mako to set it all up. And then here, Ning completely commits, but look at the mini-map. Ching doesn't even opt into electing to come, which just means Ning will die. He'll go down.
Yeah. At least he did get that 1 kill onto Leave, but doesn't feel like enough at this point. Mako trying to find Baolan.
I guess I don't know how much of a shutdown there was on the Lucian.
It can't have been a ton.
Yeah.
But, yeah, either way. I love your use of phrase there when you were talking about whether or not Ning got rooted. Like, if my eyes were correct, if Ning didn't get rooted, it wasn't that, it was that your eyes literally were incorrect. You saw it regardless. Like, your eyes are just giving you misinformation in that scenario.
I already know I need glasses, Munch. You don't need to hammer home the point even more.
Look, I'm just here on behalf of all opticians. Should have got Specsavers, not a sponsor.
But, you know.
But hey, Specsavers, if you're listening, we could do with the cash.
And like, look at this. Jet down here in bot lane once again. You know, they are giving up Herald for this. Like, this does set Ning up for the opportunity. Baolan.
Oh no. Uh-oh. A little Red Riding Hood going through the woods. And it ain't a wolf in there, it's a tree, which you would expect in the woods. But this tree's vicious. And Leave the one to grab the kill in the end. A bit of trade back though. Nice little combo coming out. The culling blocked mostly by the minions. Leave goes underneath the tower. And Doggo goes down. It's immaculate from EDG.
How do they pull that one off? Weaver's wall?
No way! Oh, even Mako gets out! You just can't punish them.
EDG are just styling on Ultra Prime. It's kind of awesome. It's kind of sad. I guess it depends on which perspective you're looking at it from, but 3-1 and 3 on the Lucian, 2-0 and 4 on the Nami. This bot lane is spectacular.
I mean, game 1 was fairly one-sided. EDG just straight up smurfing in game number 2.
Baolan, I mean, was up towards that mid lane because Herald was going down, walks back to 650 caught out, Leave incredibly aggressive with the follow-up. Nice damage to come out from Doggo. It looked like Leave was hitting critical. And had one misstep happen with this dive, right? Lucian could have gone down, Nami could have gone down. But that's the incredible thing. There wasn't a misstep in the dive. Yeah. Mako still gets away. Everything's awesome.
I will say, Doggo played that incredibly well. He was just a millimeter away from that net landing, which would have been a kill onto Leave, probably with the headshot. And then also flashing away from the piercing light, like trying his best to survive long enough that the turret would turn a kill around. Like, fair effort to him.
Yeah. But
there's only so much you can do.
I was going to say, your effort means nothing when you're now looking across the screen and seeing, you know, Gale Force mandate picked up, Demonic Embrace not over. The 3 members who have lived in the bot side for EDG, which the 2 normal members and the jungler, now just going to be able to take out Doggo and Baolan whenever they want.
I mean, we always talk about the Gale Force mandate spike for Lucian Army, right? It's talked about every single game. Well, it's not usually hit in 12 minutes, and there isn't usually a bonus serrated Dirk alongside it.
And a bonus Demonic Embrace in there as well.
Yeah, why not?
They have 3 bot lanes.
Why not have some saplings in there too? Tibbers baited out there. Leaf barely even took damage. As Fofo going to try and defend in this mid lane. Herald dropped down by Ning to try and get some gold out of these plates. But I don't think Ching will get any value on this one. It'll just go exclusively to Ning there. I feel like they need to pick up Ming for this roster. And then we need to find an AD carry and a top laner who have a 4-letter
We have Shing.
Shing.
You know, WE, I think W's Academy team right now. And yeah, then you're just looking at top.
Maybe someone just has to rename. Harry, get on the page, man. I feel like that's the only way that Ultra Prime can bring this split back at this point. I don't know how that'll bring the split back, but for me, emotionally, it will. I will support Ultra Prime if they pull that off.
Also, again,
I'll get a tattoo of Ultra Prime if they pull that
I
off.
know people listening out there like, oh, these guys are crazy. Ultra Prime, you know, they're not good. Like, again, Ultra Prime have outdone my expectations. They put up a fight in game 1. This game has been tragic. This is not the game to say this. But overall, looking at the split holistically so far, they have done better than I thought they would. And they're going to try and do better than they've done in this game by fighting this pick.
Here we go, the Weaver's wall denied, and there's a little gap for Leave to leave through, although there's a nice CC chain, and Ching will get a shutdown. That was 600 gold into his pocket.
Ultra Prime deliver with positive reinforcement.
Yeah, the comeback starts now.
They are not, you know, the whole carrot and stick thing. You just need to actually give them many carrots, and they will do well.
Well.
Come on, Ultra Prime. You can do it.
You can do it,
little buddies.
Let's see if they can get this Drake in 15 seconds. Probably not, because everyone's resetting. So I feel like EDG will get a second there. I'm not sure there's any amount of carrots that can save this game. But then again, like, if you get to the late game, you've got a Scion. Maybe that's enough.
Yeah, you have a Scion. Like, you have a solid front line. You have a Talia, which is great damage. You're gonna have CC. Should they get there? Probably not. Again, we're in huge spikes for EDG. I mean, now even a Caulfield's Warhammer and a pickaxe for Leave on top of it. Leandri's already finished for your Victor, so he's accelerating a little bit faster than he probably should have. Like, he's just had a fine and easy time in game and lane with how much attention's been pulled elsewhere. So EDG, now we're gonna see what they're able to do with Leave.
Oh no, Bowler!
Oh, that's what they can do!
Leave destroys him! What? He has a family! Leave! You can't do that to the man!
Oh, God.
I mean, there's nothing more that can be done. Here comes Nick to try and punish, but he's totally alone. Leave will be able to walk out of this one on the top side of the plate, still has his whole squad with him. His Fofo forces everyone else out of the fight. And EDG, I mean, this is just gorgeous. And Leave, you know, getting caught out a few times in the previous game, he is making up for that tenfold.
He is. Last game, there was the Ashe. Ashe does feel a little bit of like cheat codes in terms of it just becomes so much easier to find those opportunities. Still, did end up getting caught out a few times. This time around isn't as Mako 7,500 of something.
It's got to be assists,
I was going to say assists is where my mind would go.
If that is, that's an insane amount of assists. 7,500? Good lord. That's probably more than I've got in my whole league play career of just normal games.
I think you put it like in a great way earlier. If you are a young AD carry coming up who's like touted to be a mechanical prospect or great at your role, being put alongside Mako is something you want. And that's something that stat reflects very well.
Yeah. Leave, speaking of mechanical prospects, 2.5 items at 17 minutes. If he wasn't one-shotting Baolan before, he certainly is now. JJ wants to try and find Ning, which was available but not needed in the end. As Ching has stepped a little too far forwards here. Weaver's wall going to be forced out defensively. Dragon's not even up. This looked like everyone's posturing for a Dragon fight. It's not up for another 3 minutes. Alan's going to do the Herald in the meantime.
Doing it solo, just posturing on that bot side, 4 picks to be able to come through. But ultimately, I mean, you get a free Herald, you're getting Shing's ulti, and now you're going to be able to get so much damage on this mid lane. They are spot. Oh!
Bold from Shing. And low on HP, gets a heal though. So Leave will walk out with his life. That was dicey at very best.
I think he was very lucky to not go down there. Like, okay, Ultra Prime, ult comes out.
An attempt on to Leave here, but Nick just goes so deep and Leave one-shots him in the meantime. This is a 3v5 and EDG are winning it. This Fofo comes as reinforcements. Baolan falls, Harry has to flash. I mean, look, Ultra Prime, they ain't giving up, but it ain't getting any better.
Shades of the last game. A la not there for that fight, just like in game 1, pushing out a side lane, knows he can rely on his teammates to take over. It's great. It's great when you just get to see Ala, like a side lane, like winning out, the rest of EDG dominating these fights. The Lucian damage at this point, with how far ahead he is, absolutely disgusting.
Yeah. I mean, what more can you say? Take another look. I think what might have happened there is perhaps he didn't realize his Chemtech Soul, thought it was a normal blast code, and then realized that he's just put himself in melee range of Lucian.
Yeah.
Why else would you, why?
I don't know. Like, unless, if it's not a mistake, it is like a huge underestimation of how much damage Leave is able to dish out. Ning just found that out for himself firsthand. You know, to be fair to Ultra Prime in this circumstance, they're far behind. They feel themselves getting choked out. Like, did that look like a desperate play? Yes, because that was a desperate play, and Ultra Prime are in a desperate situation.
Yeah, absolutely. And we got to praise EDG on like how they've approached this game as well, right? The Caitlyn went over, the Annie went over early on in the draft. Oh my days, Leave again, almost one-shots Doggo. But against Ultra Prime, Doggo really has been the shining light for this squad. And EDG's entire game plan here in Game 2 has been camp the bottom lane, destroy Doggo and Baolan, don't let them play League of Legends.
No. Great strategy against Ultra Prime. Also kind of needed for their draft, but still putting those together, executed beautifully. Is Ala angling around the turret. They might just get this.
Yeah, Harry trying to defend it. Leave, dashes out to safety. Ning tries to get onto him, but he's got a stopwatch. Dashes and keeps himself alive. And now Ching on the wrong side of the play, taken down as Fofo grabs one for himself. Tibbers next on the chopping block. The poor rabbit bear cut to pieces. And now EDG can continue to plow through the base.
I'm surprised you're going to send multiple members down to Dragon. I feel like they could have just once. They are. Yeah, I was going to say, you're so far ahead, you push them back, you got mid lane turret, you can get some nice resets. You can just commit the Maokai, maybe throw one more member if you want, but you're going to be able to get this without any resistance.
Yeah.
And this game is really just about when EDG wants to end it, it feels like, rather than anything else. Going for the siege in mid here. Ultra Prime, once again, hoping they can turn this into an opportunity to get the flank coming up. But there it is, the stopwatch, making it so it just wasn't meant to be. Ning isn't very tanky whatsoever. He's only sitting on the black cleaver, and I believe maybe some components. So yeah, some more HP components on top of it, like the Kindle Gem.
Yeah.
Very easily. But Munch, you said it earlier, they don't give up.
No, they do not. Mako the target this time. Hey, they're going to flash. Honestly, we'll absolutely take that for Ultra Prime. You got to flash out the support. That could turn into a pick later. Weaver's Wall comes on through, but Leave is fired, and Ching ain't. Oh my days, the culling damage. Have they got him? Leave healed? He's down! Raid boss eliminated!
Now the other members of EDG are coming through. What can they make work?
4v3 at this point. How do EDG have a numbers advantage? How is that even possible? Stun onto Harry as well. Fofo has more than enough damage to take this Scion down. That was the pick for Ultra Prime. How are they outnumbered?
So Ching got chunked incredibly low by Leave. So him being out of the fight makes sense, right? He walks away. I'm not sure why Baolan was so far from the action. But I have to wait for the replay to see that one. Now you're going to try and turn this into a Baron. It's going to be up to Baolan to just, I guess, go in there with the Tibbers and maybe throw over, I was going to say throw a tilt over Peacemaker out, but that is now been used. Like, I don't know. We're going to see what they can get done.
It's time for a miracle play. Ning only just leaving the base. Smite available. There it is. Baron taken by EDG. And that is probably the beginning of the end. I say the beginning of the end. They were already 10,000 gold behind, but...
Oh, so Baolan was never anywhere close to even begin with. So, okay. This makes a lot more sense now. They're able to find the initial pick on the Leave. Great job to seeing him down. Mako trying to throw out the yield, trying to use his, blessing himself to make sure it doesn't go down. But then it's like, okay, Talia has to lead the fight. You saw the Victor and a ton of damage able to enable against Ning and Harry, who are kind of left in no man's land.
Yeah.
And right call by Doggo to just get the hell out of there.
Yeah. All right, so the resets have come on through, which then does bring up the question of coordination here for Ultra Prime, right? Because they started that fight. They were the ones that went for that pick. And granted, they did get the pick on to leave, but
I think it's hard to criticize coordination where they're at a point where they just have to go for a pick when it's, you know, available, right?
Speaking of, out of the target this time. The ace and hole comes on through. No way. Surely not. Surely not. Okay, flash from Ching to make
but
sure
at
that yeah, make sure the kill goes through. Culling here onto Ching, but Lee can't really get in. Talia ruining his day at the minute as Doggo flashes out safety, gets the trap to keep himself alive. JJ tanking on the front line. Ching dishing some damage out, but here comes Fofo onto Bowline. He just wants to kill the support as Lee now dashes on in. The minefield down, and it gives him space to move around the fight. EDG, 2 for 1.
Ultra Prime took down the Renekton, who, you know, again, this is no criticism to Allah, hasn't had to do anything this game. Find a kill, but at the cost of almost your whole team. Again, they're in a position where they really have to take whatever they can get, but now it's going to lead EDG to using that Baron buff to probably even, maybe even break down the full inhibitor. They're definitely going to get this inhib turret. I don't know how much confidence you're going to have sticking around beyond this with a Vi still alive.
I just want to see, before this game is out at this point, I want to see Allah get an opportunity to get onto Bowline or Doggo with his Prowler's Claw build. I want to see that juicy lethality reduction one shot onto a squishy. I need to see it.
So assuming I'm reading this right, I think Leave having a 4,600, like, he's 4,600 gold above Doggo, like,
not bad. Not bad.
And we see it, right? Committing everything to take down Allah, has a lot of ways to just burn time. Initially, it was Prowler's Claw, which means he still has his places that's available. Dominance was used, but so much committed. And now that tidal wave splitting Doggo up from the rest of the fight. JJ's ultimate also making sure that he really can't be involved at all. And it just puts us in a situation where, sure, it is a little bit scrappier as Leave can't put himself in like too worrying of a situation, but giving him enough time to whittle in and out. Fofo, the whole time, just foul land, leading him around that cove was honestly the best part. At the end of the day, though, they do get the kills, and they're keeping this siege going strong.
Interesting use of the Maokai ult there, just to zone everybody away. That's half the tower damage done. That's one thing I will say, this composition from EDG, not the greatest at sieging. They don't have that Baron buff anymore. And there's a reasonable amount of wave clear with Caitlyn there with the Talia. You can just about clear these waves before they get underneath the turret. But just the lack of range is the issue for EDG.
Yeah, they have like burst plays they can make around turrets, obviously Maokai and then the culling, able to come out and potentially force them off, but not really able to look for that consistently. And Talia, at this point, 2.5 items, will be offering really solid wave clear, but still, now Chemtech Soul picked up for EDG.
Well,
you know, I was like, where do I go with this next?
I mean, I feel like the only next here is go next.
The match of the week, baby.
Yeah, JDG Telpy's boss. That's what I'm talking about. And for Ultra Prime, it's talking about what can happen in their next matchup, what they can learn from this one, because EDG just giving us a bit of a masterclass today. I think the thing for EDG as well, this like really great to watch, is that when they get a lead, they make so few mistakes. Like their gameplay is just so clean. That's the combo you were talking about before with the Lucian and Maokai ultimates, just to try and force people away. But Harry he's a beefy boy at this point.
I mean, we've already seen, right? Fights have gotten like closer and closer as time has gone on, just because of how much now they are able to tank up. Still shouldn't really be able enough to halt the assault coming out from EDG, but you're right, EDG might not be able to really finish off this game until that Baron respawns in 55 seconds.
JJ moves in to try and make it happen. Tidal wave is there, and Ning has been baited and outsmarted. Taken down. And just as you're saying, Baron's coming in 40 seconds, the jungler is dead for Ultra Prime.
You know, I don't think EDG should have been allowed to break the base open, but the fact that Ultra Prime looked for an engage, this actually might be the thing that allows for the base to be broken open.
It's very on brand for Ultra Prime for Nick to just jump in. I respect it. At this point, it's who they are. It's in their blood. They go in. Nobody will tell them otherwise.
Recalls coming out. Baron gonna be up in less than 20 seconds now, so you know EDG, that's just theirs. Lord Doms picked up by Leave, so now sitting 4 items strong, and we get to see, yeah, he's, what is that, about almost 6K gold above Doggo? Almost 6K up?
Yeah, it's not bad.
3K in top, 2K in jungle. I mean, there's leads. The closest is actually mid lane, where it looked like Xing was only about 1K gold behind Fofo.
Which is kind of mind-blowing, really, when you look at the score difference.
7 turrets to 0.
Yeah. As Ning has found Doggo, the culling! Oh, Doggo just about walks away. Tired away will be shy as well. Harry using the ultimate to try and survive, and look at that from Ala. Blocking it, forces the flash out. And they may not get a kill, but it gets them away into their base. JJ doing a Ning as he's flashed towards the backside of the play. But this time, there's reinforcements from the team. That'll be the base broken open. Honestly, that might actually just be the game.
EDG, they're looking for it. They'll have a wave coming in bot soon.
They're going to go for the dive on the Nexus Towers. We get to see him on a squishy, but Doggo survives on 1 HP. It's 1-for-1 here. As EDG continue the siege, Tippers goes down. They've run out of minions though, just a single caster minion under that Nexus turret. They have to destroy the inhibitor just so these minions don't get involved.
They still have a ton to work with here, which is why we see them sticking around. They want to get more damage onto this turret. It's all of the Doggo, it's off to Bowland.
Leave is still full HP and Doggo isn't. Oh my days. How many times has Doggo survived on 1 HP this game? I have no idea, but it's a lot. Leave finishes Harry off. Here comes Jing to finish the job onto the EDG AD carry, but no, just goes on to JJ instead. And EDG have overdone it here. Nexus survives. And Ultra Prime with a pick onto JJ. Could they go for Baron?
Like, whether they can or not, I don't know. But should they potentially just gamble it all? Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, your Nexus is open. 2 inhibs are down. Like, what else can you do? I guess the question is, can they even get there in time before people are up when they have to worry about the supers in mid? We got to see exactly what we wanted, Munch. Prowler slot into the engage on the Doggo. That is so unfortunate that he survives on like 50 HP to be able to get out of there.
And honestly, he goes down there, EDG win the game. Without Doggo there to play the minions, 100% EDG finish the game right there. And then, Leaf makes an attempt onto Doggo as well, and he walks away on 100 HP as well. See you later, Bowland. That's a Prowler's Claw right there, and that's what it does.
1 pick down. Leave also just finished up his collector, so he is now officially full build to where Doggo hasn't even finished his 3rd item yet. This will be Baron, and you would expect after this should be the look for the ending push.
Yep. Ale fully prowling at this point, and his claws are out, that's for sure. As now EDG can move towards the base. And with an open Nexus and 2 lanes of super minions coming in, surely there's no way for Ultra Prime to defend against this push. As they just need a couple of autos in, and the game will end. Last ditch effort for Ultra Prime.
Malkael comes out.
Stun onto Harry, he's trying to block on the front line. Xing though, almost one shot by Fofo, taken down by the solo laners. And in the meantime, Harry taken apart, Bowland's down, Doggo won't survive this time. A double comes through for Leave. And Harry, he's doing his best to survive, but I don't think Ala's gonna let him get away with that one, or maybe he doesn't have a choice. As the game ends, 26-8 EDG, to make it look easy.
EDG were immaculate. JJ paying a lot of attention down towards the bottom lane, knowing that's kind of the win condition they need to hammer home on. They need to make sure that this Annie and Caitlyn aren't able to bully out the Solutionami, or it feels like they're just going to have so many ways to snowball the game, like bot lane pressure with Weaver's Wall in mid. They have a cohesive front line of the Sun, so they'll keep punching me insane later on. So I love that they just make sure that that's never even allowed to happen. Huge kudos to Leave, but in my mind, like Mako really being the one to set himself apart in this game. Beautiful bubbles, beautiful ultimates. Like, there's so many things that Mako was able to do where it feels like, we talk about this all the time, it's why supports don't get as many MVPs, right? It's harder to like look flashier, set yourself apart, or have these huge performances, but definitely feel like Mako was able to achieve that in this game.
Oh yeah, Mako looked fantastic, and especially in the early game when we were still within touching distance of gold. Like, Mako individually looked phenomenal in that 2v2. Like you say, the picks coming out, like really, really great stuff.
They almost took Leaf down, if you remember, but it was the bubble that prevented them from moving forward to make sure that it couldn't happen again.
And then that set up for the tower shots, Doggo, that then set up for Mako to flash against the like really, really phenomenal sequence of play, and it was all Mako making that happen.
And then you have Allah. He's probably like talking to him right now, guys. I don't know. Did we play match today? Like, what's going on?
And it's nice for EDG because this is their only match this week. They get to put their feet up now. They don't have to play until next week. Like, it's already been a chill week for them. We're fairly late in the week.
I was going to say the week ends after tomorrow
on Monday. So I guess they don't get time off. I guess they had their time off in hindsight. But yeah, I mean, either way, chill. This felt like a day off for EDG, honestly.
Yeah. Again, this game too doesn't feel like there's really much to say. Again, JJ put attention to bot lane. Bot lane smashed. They rotated that around the map. Ultra Prime kind of quickened their defeat, which, again, to be fair, they were in a desperate situation. They felt pressure. They were hoping to find these huge Hail Mary plays, which just put them even further behind. But just throughout the series, I feel like we saw EDG are like becoming more disciplined than I think a lot of people thought they'd be at the start of the split. Like you see people like Allah staying in his own lane, JJ not making the same mistakes he was making at points in last year. Mako, I mean, again, just doing a great job in moving Lee forward. Fofo bringing us back to that 2021 sort of timeline where he was just a powerhouse. So we were talking about like top 3 mid of that, what was it, 2021 summer, just destroying everyone in lane. Like, seriously, it was so great to see. And now seeing it all come together and work cohesively and make EDG look even better than they did towards like last year is crazy.
They look insane right now. And one of the crazy things I think about Fofo's improvement specifically is when you think back to that split in 2021 where he was absolutely insane individually, there was still that criticism of, okay, Fofo isn't necessarily roaming enough, isn't necessarily playing with his team enough. Yeah, like it was like mid lane is king and anything else can go to the wayside.
That was the way that our A team played, right? It was like, go to late game, we out team fight them, and we're all strong enough laners to where it's fine.
Whereas now, I feel like Fofo is playing to leave, right? Fofo's consistently moving around to the bottom side, consistently moving to these skirmishes, and it feels like he's more a piece of this EDG team as opposed to EDG's team having to be a piece for him.
Which I feel like is a huge statement to the system, to Kenju, to JJ, to Mako, to the pieces that were already here, to be able to integrate 3 new players so well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, we talked about it. That was one of our opening statements today, right? Is that JJ and Mako and this new squad, can they make it happen? So far, they have been looking absolutely incredible. And I feel like each series that we see from EDG, they're building up more and more, right?
I believe more with every series.
They beat JDG 2-0. They lost to Top Esports, but it was 2-1, and it was damn close of a series as well. And, you know, speaking of that mid laner, we just talked about him at length. We're going to have an interview with Fofo.
Hello there, welcome to Post Game Interview. I'm Christina. We're joined by Fofo, the mid laner for EDG. Congratulations on your 2-0 victory. First question, I really want to touch on the Annie, this champion, because we have seen so many Annie support, which is really popular in this new meta. But we're also seeing a lot of mid players in LPL or in LCK also used mid Annie. So as a mid laner, what's your take on Annie mid? Do you think it will get popular in this new meta? 欢迎 Fofo 来到我们的赛后采访，也恭喜 EDG 今天2-0非常干净利落的拿下了比赛。第一个，我们想聊一下安妮这个英雄，都知道他在这个版本就是还是比较火热嘛。但我们今天比赛中看到了辅助安妮。前2天呢 ，LPL 和 LCK 的一些中单选手都拿出来了安妮走中作为一个摇摆。所以作为一个中路选手，你觉得安妮走中在这个版本的可行性高不高，适用性还强吗？
首先的话，我觉得安妮这个英雄在 BB 上就是占优势的，然后他在中路的话，前期的战斗力以及跟打野的配合都是还不错的，所以这个英雄我也玩了几把吧，就是还算挺不错的。
Actually, I do think that Annie really get advantages in Bampi strategies, and I also played Annie for so many times, and I think she is really aggressive and really strong in early game, and he can get a really combination with jungler. Maybe I will be pick any meet in the next matchup or in future? And the second question, I really want to touch on your very flashy mechanics in game number 1. What was your team's communication been like when you engaged 4 opponents in level 6? And are you satisfied with your own performance today? 那么第二个问题想要问一下 Fofo 今天在第一局那一波下路沙皇1推4的精彩表现，当时这一波队内的角色和沟通是怎么做的？你觉得今天的表现自己还满意吗？
我觉得第一把的话，因为我算是那把的核心吧，然后队友觉得可以打，我也觉得可以打，然后就是其实那个队友来说应该看习惯了，也就正常吧。对。
Actually, I think that I am a core member of or because I pick Azure. This is a core championship in the draft in our game number 1. But in terms of my mechanics, maybe my teammates are get used to it. Maybe this is just a normal mechanics for me and for my teammates. Next question, I really want to touch on the game number 2, which is really a solid game. What was your team's key point or what was the focus point in game number 2? Maybe you just pay more attention to bowling or another mutual objective team fights and the other things. 那么第二局是一个 EDG 这边非常快速的一个平推局，然后也打得非常稳健嘛。所以在第二局你们整个一个核心或者重点是放在哪里的？因为看到对面 UP 其实是毫无还手之力。
首先第二局的话，我们 BP 的首要任务就是保证下路的发育以及优势，然后我的任务的话就是不死，所以那把我就乖乖的发育，然后勾引对面，然后让我们下路 C 就行了。
Actually, in BMP's strategies, because of our draft, we just want to protect and make sure our bowling get leads. And my task is only don't die and don't be punished. Maybe in mid laner, just farming and the other thing. Final question for you: 6 victories for EDG right now. It is week 6 for LPL regular season. Are you satisfied with your performance as a whole team as EDG? And can we expect more from EDG in regular season? 那么最后一个问题，拿下这场胜利之后 ，EDG 已经来到了6个大的胜场。现在我们 LPL 常规赛赛程已经过半嘛，Fofo 选手觉得队伍现在展现出来的一个状态和表现，你们自己还满意吗？我们能不能再期待下一步 EDG 会有更精彩的表现？
我觉得大家可以期待一下吧。然后我们的状态的话，其实就是还可以，但是其实对我来说还有进步的空间。我觉得我们就是一起努力。
Actually, we are in a decent form from my perspective. Maybe it's not the best form for us, and we still have a lot of room for improvement. Please looking forward to our performance in future. Thank you so much for joining me. 谢谢 Fofo 来到我们下午采访，跟大家说再见吧。Back to you guys. Bye bye.